I guess we should probably start. Are we good? Are we good on levels?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to turn this up a little bit. We're not peaking that. All right. Let's go, I guess. What's going on?
Absolutely nothing. Hold on, let me clear my throat before we start. Which number is this?
14, 15. 15.
Episode 15.
I think. You weren't here for the last one.
Right.
I did one without you.
Oh, okay.
With my friend Travis.
Okay.
We said that you died in an autoerotic
Asphyxiation
accident on your way to Mexico.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually how I want to go.
Yeah.
That or being eaten by a shark.
I figured.
Yeah. Well, I'm like...
Yeah, why not both?
Hanging myself, jerking off. I want a shark to come out of the water. I'm going to be hanging off the side of a boat in shark-infested waters.
Which, yeah. Well,
With a noose around my head, jerking off.
Well, you use a belt.
Or a belt, sure. Yeah, because the noose would probably just kill me.
I said that instead of doing it in the shower, like you take the belt and you put it over the shower curtain pole.
Right.
And that's what you use. I said instead of that, you found a way to do it in the toilet.
I don't understand, but okay.
I just thought it was more funny to have you do it in
figure
the
it
toilet. So this is James and Jordan Talk to the Internet. Possibly episode 15. Maybe episode 14. Who knows? We could look it up. We have the technology. We're not going to use it.
No, we're not. So, yeah. What do you want to talk about?
We can talk about how we're in a new space.
We are?
I recently moved into a bigger apartment.
A bigger recording studio?
Yeah. I could probably have afforded to keep paying for that apartment, and then we could have just used that as the recording studio.
No. This place has better vibes.
Yeah, this place is awesome.
The other one's is very tacky looking. I don't like the...
super excited.
Look like Grandma's home.
Yeah.
Look like Grandma moved out of there and you just moved back in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean...
It did, though.
It's not...
You're not disagreeing with me.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
The trim on there, didn't it say, like, country home or some shit like that?
I don't remember.
Oh, it said, like, welcome home or some crap.
Something stupid.
Yeah, home's where the heart is.
God's country.
Because I'd be dead. I mean... Your heart, it's everywhere you go.
Yours is? Well, I mean, unless you're in parts of the Caribbean.
Right.
He had it in that jar of dirt.
Which one?
I think it was the third one.
Yeah, so, whatever.
I'm just going to say it. The first one is the only good one.
How many are there?
There are
6?
5?
There's more than that.
I don't think
They've all meshed into one movie. Yeah, I don't even think Johnny Depp is in them anymore.
I don't think so either.
I think it's just like a look-alike.
I think they got a younger guy.
Well, like for real?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I knew they did a de-aging thing at some point. I only watched the first 3. I have paid attention to the 4th one. I haven't seen the 5th one.
Who's the dead guy?
Oh,
who went to Johnny Depp and told him...
The tentacle guy?
No, I'm talking real life, not in the movie. They went to Johnny Depp and they told him that he's too old to play this role. Johnny Depp, the sex symbol, being told that.
How old is Johnny Depp?
Oh, God, he's like 50-something.
Yeah.
He's like 51.
Liam Neeson became an action star when he was 50.
Yeah, he's always some dad trying to rescue his kids.
Takes 14 cuts in the movie to get over that fence.
I don't know who you are. I watched one of his movies, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was fantastic. I mean, anyone I talked to, they said it sucked, but I loved it. Somebody kills his son or something?
Okay.
I didn't quite catch the beginning of it. He's like in Alaska. He's at you know this movie? He's at like a ski resort, and he's the guy who like plows everything. And then these like mafia dudes. You told me about
this before.
Did I?
I think so.
Yeah, it was funny. He just goes on a rampage and just murders all these people. Which is kind of like all of his movies, but this one was funny.
I haven't seen The Gray.
That's a good movie.
I feel like that's kind of his creme de la creme. Like
It's creme de la creme.
People know him from Taken, but I feel like The Grey is kind of like his big movie.
Well, The Grey's actually, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I've heard great things.
Yeah,
and I will watch it at some point.
I mean, if you watch it and you're like, that's not how wolves are, or some dumb shit like that, it's like it's basically
the wolves would be attacking from the left instead.
Yeah, no, it's.
You mean like how I watch movies?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horror movie, I guess. It's a horror movie, but it's not like a true horror movie.
More of a thriller.
Yeah, but it's kind of scary. I mean, their plane crashes, and you just see these like big ass wolves like sprinting towards them, and they're just in like foot deep snow and shit, trying to run away.
Think you could fight a wolf?
He does in the end of it.
Do you think you could though?
No.
Wolves are big.
Yeah.
I don't think people truly understand. Like, people think like a husky is the size of a wolf. A wolf is like twice as big as a regular dog, as a big dog. Like, if you think of like a Great Dane,
I don't think. Yeah.
that came from a wolf.
Yeah, didn't they all?
Yeah, but like that's how big wolves are.
Like, if you think of a pug,
A poodle.
that came from a wolf.
Do you remember? Have you seen all of the Gus Johnson videos where God's up on the roof of the house?
Yes. Yeah.
The one where they're petting the dog. Is it the Noah's Ark one? And they have the dog, and he's like, "That was me." He's like, God's like, "What is that thing?" He's like, "Oh, this is a dog." He's like, "I didn't make that. What is that? Did you guys do that?" He's like, "Yeah. You know, we took wolves and we made them into this." And he's like, "What? Wolves were so cool." And he's like, "They bit us too much."
Well, it is kind of sick, though. I mean, you look at some of these dog breeds, and it's just like what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, like pugs are bred to just be horribly like fat and gross, and they can't breathe properly.
Yeah. Some of them have to have surgery.
Yeah, it's sad.
Some of them have to have nose. I love pugs, though.
They're adorable, as most dogs are. Fuck poodles. Fuck chihuahuas. Those little bastards. I'm okay with poodles.
Well, like, I love bulldogs. My brother had a bulldog, and I just be looking at him, and he'd be like, he just looked fucked up. I mean, if you pulled his mouth apart, he looked like Predator. And it's just like somebody, they were shooting for that. That was the end result of what people wanted.
Yeah, like hundreds of years of genetic manipulation through
that's
selective
it.
breeding.
That's what we wanted. And you're just looking at it and you're like, I mean, I like this dog, he's cute, but like, what the fuck? Like, who why?
It's so weird.
I mean, you find out there's uses for them, like hunting and stuff like that, but like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
what is that bulldog gonna do?
Like, dogs just have different innate desires. Like, there are dogs that all they want to do is herd sheep. That's all. That's like, they wake up in the morning, it's like, I gotta herd.
I gotta herd.
Like,
that's herd some sheep.
That's what I gotta do. Like, if you take that dog and put him in a small apartment in New York City, they will just like be depressed because they're I've seen that before. But if you take like a Chihuahua and put it in an open field with a bunch of sheep, it's just gonna have a heart attack and die. Like, it won't know what the fuck is going on.
I hate Chihuahuas.
They're
I think
terrible.
Those are the worst kind of dog.
We should watch the Beverly Hills Chihuahua movies. Starring George Lopez.
Yeah, I was about to say, is he the one who voices that thing? Yeah. No. It's a hard pass.
We could have a George
pass.
Lopez movie night.
Hard pass.
Watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
I saw one episode of his show, which I'm pretty sure is not on the air anymore.
No,
this is from like 2003.
I think when that got I think it was on TBS, and it was not renewed. Let's say canceled after the Conan O'Brien move over to TBS.
Oh.
And because I saw a monologue where he was talking about, my history with being dropped from networks. It sucks, and George was very welcoming. We wish him the best. A very nice thing. Conan O'Brien being a very nice guy, as he seems to always be.
I bet you he's a monster. Behind closed doors.
Yeah, Jay Leno though, saint, salt of the earth.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is other comedians just destroying Jay Leno after that happened.
What did Jay Leno do?
Do you not know the whole story with the Tonight Show?
No.
Or the Late Show? I think it was the Tonight Show. Which one's like the really big one? Like
Probably the
Jay
Tonight.
Letterman.
There's the Tonight Show. I don't know.
I think it's late. I think it was late.
There's the Late Show, and then there's the Late.
I think it was the Late Show. It was one of those.
With Conan?
It was like a huge.
Conan was the Late Show. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was probably the Late Show. It was the one that Jay Leno was before, and they said, "Okay, after 5 years, we're giving it to Conan O'Brien." He said, "Okay." After 5 years, Jay Leno was out. Conan O'Brien was in, and he was only there for like a year. And it always takes a while for a talk show host to sort of get into it and figure things out. So the ratings were pretty bad. And then like NBC would like push it back and just switch the nights around and shit. Like they would just move it so nobody knew where it was and stuff. So it was getting horrible ratings because nobody could watch it. And then Jalen was like, "Yeah, I want to come back. So give me a new show." So they gave him a new show at that time and bumped Conan to a later time. And then they just kept doing shit like that. And Conan O'Brien's like, "Okay, fuck you. This is bullshit. Either fire me or give me my job." And they're like, "Okay, you're fired." And they gave the Late Show back to Jay Leno. And Conan O'Brien couldn't do any talk shows for a couple of years or whatever legally. And like every single person, Jay Letterman, Jimmy Kimmel, all of them, like Jay Letterman was talking about how he's like, after it happened, he went on, he's like, "Okay, Jay Leno came out and he said, nobody, everybody, none of this is Conan's fault. Nobody blame Conan." And Jay Letterman looks at the audience. He's like, "Who's blaming Conan? You're the asshole." And then there was another bit. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel went on, and it was like Jay Leno had cards and he was asking like stock questions, Jimmy Kimmel was giving funny responses, and one of them was like, "What's the best prank you ever pulled?" And Jimmy Kimmel goes, "Oh man, I had this great one where I promised this guy that he could have my job, and then after I gave it to him, I just took it and fucked that guy." And Jay Leno has to stand there and just take this abuse on TV. He's like, yeah. Like he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. Got nothing for that?
Okay. What are we talking about now?
I don't know.
Let's talk about structure.
Oh, how you don't like the the wanderings of this podcast?
We've decided we're going to have some more structure on the podcast.
You've decided.
You seem to be on board with it.
I'm okay with doing another podcast in which we talk about exclusively sliders. I will do a sliders podcast, and I'm willing to add more structure to
and then
this,
have a random one.
But I think that this should be at its core fairly random.
Okay.
We can have segments, recurring segments where we try something, like we eat something funny. We've done that a couple times, stuff like that. But I think that at its core, this shouldn't have a subject. It should just be sort of whatever with some structure sprinkled in.
Yeah, I thought we were going to watch weird shit.
We can do
review
that
it
on our movie podcast.
The sliders one.
Yeah. Do you want to come up with a name right now on the spot?
So it's not... That would be the segment. We would do a special on sliders, but move on from then. Because I don't know what sliders is, and neither did you vaguely do.
Oh, I can tell you the whole story right now. I know the very broad strokes of it.
I want to know nothing about it. Okay. Just go into it. I'm not going to research it. I'm going to do nothing.
Can I give you one hint?
No.
There's an episode with dinosaurs in it.
Yeah, I know that they like time travel and shit, and that's it, right?
No time travel.
Okay, then I don't want to know anything about it.
Okay. I won't tell you.
Where are you even going to find the show?
I think it's on Hulu. Also, my dad has the first 2 seasons on DVD. I'll totally buy it. I'm sure it's like $70 on Amazon.
No, I'm sure
I will totally buy the box
They
set.
probably have it at Bull Moose, like used for like $5.
We can, yeah, totally.
That way, I want it on
couple seasons are pretty good.
I want it on are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it gets bad
For like a 90s TV show, yeah.
Ugh, 90s TV show.
It's a really cool concept, which I won't tell you, but you'll see. We're totally doing it.
It's Rick and Morty, but not a comedy.
Kind of.
Yeah. Somebody at work was telling me about this.
Yeah, it was a semi-popular show.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to do Babylon 5, which is an actually good show with some terrible CGI because it was super low budget. And also maybe a ripoff of Deep Space Nine. I also said that we should do every single episode of Star Trek ever made.
No.
And you didn't seem to be on board with that.
Because that show's not really... I mean, the original Star Trek, maybe. That's the only one I like.
You don't like Next Generation?
No.
Why?
I don't like Star Trek. I only like the original. And the movies.
You're like the opposite of every other Star Trek fan.
It's always...
Most people can't stand the original series because it's so goofy. And they love Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Well, it's goofy, but it's not... The stories are...
Yeah, I would agree. The stories are
nice.
There, but
Yeah.
it's just like a dude in a rubber Gorn suit.
Yeah, but that's
swinging really slowly.
Yeah, but that's fucking hilarious.
I don't disagree. I love it.
I just want to smoke some weed and just watch all those cool Christmas lights in their spaceship.
Man, fucking old shows are the best.
Yeah,
because it's such a toss up. Like you get something like the Gorn Fight, where it's a super slow, just stupid action scene.
We should find like a show from the 60s that was meant to be dead serious and just bombed immediately and was like taken off TV.
So like a one season,
like something for even in the 60s people were like,
nah,
man, that looks so bad. Just like got rid of it.
Oh jeez, I can probably think of one.
You can see the strings on the spaceships.
We could watch like,
have you ever seen an Ed Wood movie?
Thunderbirds or something.
Thunderbirds.
But that's pretty dope. Thunderbirds is pretty
That's
cool.
the one that Team America parodies,
the
right?
marionettes.
Yeah. No, I've never actually seen that show.
It's pretty cool. Like, the shit is, like, you can tell it's all miniatures and stuff, but it's pretty cool. Like, they have a movie where they're doing a mission to Mars, right? And there's a saboteur on board, and the IMF... No, that's the Impossible Mission Force from Mission Impossible. The Thunderbirds.
A little bit off there.
The Thunderbirds. They have to go and like figure out who it is and suss it out or whatever. But it's like this super big plane, and the wings like detach for it to fly into space, and then when it comes back from Mars, the wings like fly up and connect back on. Yeah. It's the most ludicrous, stupid shit, but it's awesome.
So the wings were just flying in midair by themselves.
Yeah.
Like, so the wings...
They're like remote controlled or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And they like two come in from the top and one comes in from the bottom, and they all connect and they comes in and lands. It's also so funny because the first probably 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, there's no dialogue, and it's just this plane like being built. Like these moving buildings like connect a thing and then pull away, and the nose is now attached to the plane. It's so funny. Like you're just sitting there and you're like, people spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this.
Nice.
And it looks like Hot Wheels. It's great.
Yeah, well, when were Hot Wheels invented?
Probably around the same time.
Maybe this show invented hot rods.
Hot rods. You watch Hot Rod.
Hot Rod. Which, is that the one where the guy falls down
yeah. It's the Andy's. Ow! Oh, shit! Ow!
Oh, my God! Ow!
That movie's so funny.
I do kind of want to watch that entire thing.
It's really good.
Oh my god. Ow.
That clip I sent you, that has the whole thing where he's like doing gymnastics on the log right before.
Yeah, he's doing the what's flash dance or dirty dancing, whatever that scene is.
Oh, from the Tom Cruise?
No, in the thing they're parodying before he falls down an entire mountain.
Well, he's just dancing to music, right?
No, it's a parody of what the fuck is that movie? The one where there's I think it's the one where the guy's like her dad, the mayor of the town, like bans like dancing.
Footloose.
Yeah, Footloose.
With Kevin Bacon.
When he drives into that
I've never seen it.
Oh, that's what they're parodying. There's a scene in that movie which is like
where he's like dancing
he drives into this like underneath a bridge or something. He's all pissed off. He gets out of his car and starts dancing like that. It's literally like the same thing, except he doesn't fall down.
He doesn't fall down a mountain.
He doesn't
like,
fall down a
get
10,000
across
foot
the screen by a wire.
Foot mountain. I love how it's just not even the terrain in that
bouncing off of the trees.
The terrain in that movie too does not like that's not even
that movie's
correct
so
terrain. It's just like he's like in the woods where it's not that much of a steep incline to just like a clearing to like it's just the locations they found to shoot that. It's just like I've done a lot of hiking, so like in order for a mountain to look, I mean, yeah, he would have that's at least like,
I mean, he's falling
given
for like
the terrain
4
they
minutes.
show. Yeah, that's at least like, well, that we see. But given all the terrain we see him going through, that must have been like at least a 4,000 foot mountain that he just rolled off the side of, smashing tree. Like he would be dead.
Oh yeah, 100%. He hit trees
Ow.
and then like
Ow.
spun off camera.
Does anyone even know what we're talking about?
Probably.
If someone was
It's
listening
a
to
really
this?
good movie. I'm sure people have seen it.
Hot Rod.
There's this scene in that movie where the guy who voices Cyril Figgis in Archer is like he's the producer of like an AM radio show. Not AM as in the morning.
Radio.
AM as in not FM. And he's talking to what's his face? The main what's the actor's name? Fuck. I literally just said it.
Andy Samberg?
Andy Samberg. He's talking to Andy Samberg and one of the other dudes on his in his crew, and they're doing this stunt, and AM radio is paying for it and like putting it on the air, and the Cyril Figgis guy is talking. He goes, "Look, I have this tattoo," and it's this really elaborate tattoo all across like a full front, like full chest down into his stomach. And he says, "Look, this little boy here is pissing on FM radio and TV, and you can see that the stream is split. I'd like to imagine that the little boy had sex before he did this." So the stream
What the fuck?
So the stream is splitting, but you can see up here, AM radio is completely untouched, and it just cuts to Andy Samberg and whoever else is there, and they're just like staring at him.
Danny boy, little boy, tiny boy, I love you.
Charlie, I'm not singing this song. It makes me sound like I want to bang a little boy. I'm also not kissing Dennis. Yeah, I'm not doing that either, bro. That's why I didn't want you guys to play the part.
That's one of the best episodes.
It's so good. Dennis, what are you doing? I'm eating because I'm very uncomfortable. It's one of the most quotable shows ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the show.
Fuck you if you don't watch the show.
'Cause
You're
if
not
you
going
don't
to get
watch
it.
the show.
It's hilarious. You should watch it if you don't watch it. But going back to 60s television.
Yeah.
I know you watched.
Bad one.
You watched an episode of Wild Wild West with me. The blank stare that you're giving me tells me that you don't really remember what that is.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one where the scientist guy made
Yeah.
plastic surgery.
Yeah.
The Secret Service
Right,
agent's
yeah.
face.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
That show's great because Robert Conrad, who played the main guy, James West, did like 99% of his own stunts.
Yeah.
So there's a shot, I very clearly remember it, where he's like on the side of a cliff, like 150 feet up in the air. It's a legitimate cliff. And he has to get down to a camp or something at the bottom. So he like rigs up this little, not like a zip line, but like a little pulley system to, with 2 handles to slowly lower himself down. And he, goes over and he's holding on to it. And there's a super wide shot, and you just see like this little speck going down. And you're like, oh, clearly that's a stuntman. And then without cutting, the camera zooms in on his face, and it's just him.
Going down a cliff.
Like, rappelling down this cliff.
Yeah.
And then I was watching an episode where he fights like a bunch of assassins.
So this guy was Tom Cruise before it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tom Cruise is a hipster.
Like, there's this shot. It's like a nothing shot where he jumps. It's probably about as high as the ceiling is. So it's not like a super dangerous stunt, but you could very easily get hurt, like break a leg jumping from that height. But there's the shot of his character, and he jumps off this roof, and he does what you're supposed to do, where he falls and lands on his side to distribute the weight, and he gets up and he runs, and he sort of like gets into focus of the camera, and it's him. It's all one shot. And then the other guy does it, like his partner, and it has a shot of him, going to jump, and then it cuts to a wide shot of just another guy. Like, his head sort of tilted the other way away from camera. He's got a hat on, so like sort of covering his face.
Was he a stuntman before he was part of the show?
No,
because sometimes, like, even if you want to do a stunt, they won't allow you to.
He fought very hard to do his own stunts. He's like, let me do this. I can do this. Let me do this stuff. And so it was like Tom Cruise, where eventually he got to the point where he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
I bumped the mic, bumped it twice.
Yeah, you keep bumping the fucking pop filter that you insisted on.
I like it.
But there's a shot in this, anyway, after the stuntman jumps and lands, it cuts to another shot of the guy sort of like the actor getting up and running over. Like you can clearly tell who did it for real.
You think William Shatner did all of his own stunts?
I think that we saw from that episode that we watched
that was him.
Definitely did it.
That was totally him.
Suddenly he de-aged 10 years and his hair changed color and style.
I think if you're drinking enough whiskey and it's the 60s, you're not gonna fucking know. And the TV would have been
it was an
blurred
old
to
CRT.
shit.
I mean, you saw we switched back and forth between the remastered and the original.
Yeah.
Imagine that original on a 14-inch CRT, black and white. It keeps fuzzing in and out because you don't have a good signal. You're not gonna notice that shit.
I feel like
you got one TV for sound and one
they're
TV
gonna
for
end up
picture.
like they're gonna end up fixing all of these really old movies where like everyone's you're gonna hear your grandpa be like, oh, she was beautiful back in the day, and they're gonna like fix up all these films, and you're gonna find out that it's really just a wrinkly, like skin's uneven, disgusting looking woman, but it was like you couldn't even see the people on the TV.
You just saw a vague outline of boobs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even how it is now.
Your grampy's like, Jesus Christ, get me the old TV.
I jacked it to that.
What the fuck?
But I mean, even we see it, like, people were so much more forgiving back in the day. Mostly because you couldn't tell. But also because people just didn't care as much about that shit as they do now. Like, we were watching Alien the other day.
Yeah.
And that has one of the worst cuts in movie history. Where it just cuts from that shitty looking puppet to that dude's head.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's just, they don't do like a cutaway. They don't do a screen wipe where somebody walks in front of the screen like they did in Back to the Future.
I'd have to watch it again, but in that scene, basically they wanted the head lying on its side where it's not real. Mm-hmm. Then it switches over, and I forget this actor's name. Like, I'd know it if you told it to me, but
The robot, Ash.
Yes, Ash. But you could have had him underneath the floor with that attached like that.
But like they set his head down and then it tips over.
Yeah.
And then they set it back up.
Yeah.
And then they're like trying to keep it standing up. And then it just cuts to the camera.
But I feel like he could have moved his head with it.
But then you wouldn't get the wires, and you couldn't have them setting it down.
Yes, you could.
You couldn't have them pick up the head and have the wires dangling out.
He could have been like further behind it. I feel there's if we were to rewatch it, we could make a list of we could draw pictures of how they could have filmed this better than what it was.
Yeah, I said
with
that
keeping him in the shot completely with no dummy head. I think you could.
I don't think so.
I think you could. The only time you need the dummy head is like if he's
How are you gonna film the fucking wires coming out of it?
That's the little prosthetic thing.
Where's his
neck? They already had. That's attached to the side of his neck, okay?
You could see they picked it up.
They pick up his head?
Yeah, they like pick his head up and move it to the table.
Yeah. And then that's
So how are you gonna film that?
You film him picking up the head, they put it down.
Yeah.
But it's like him after it's placed down. So you get the head or whatever, they set it down. Mm-hmm. And not in a way where it's gonna cut like that. And then from then on, them moving it around.
But there has to be a cut.
It's him with the head.
But there has to be a cut.
How does there has to be a cut?
Because you just said you have the puppet and you set it down and then it's him.
I said you set it down in a way where it cuts to actually being him as they're moving it around.
But there has to be a cut.
But that wouldn't be a bad cut.
I'm just saying,
as opposed to like straight up a full-on view of a dummy's head and then just it's like it's a human head.
I said they should have had somebody walk in front of it.
Well, no, a Jaws thing.
Just do a wipe.
You could maybe, but I think it's just like no, I mean. So, well, you haven't seen Alien 3. Mm-mm. You should see how they handle the robots in that. Because Bishop gets like mangled to all hell and thrown in the trash.
He's pretty mangled in Aliens.
Yeah, he gets split in half.
Yeah, he does.
But they throw him. He gets thrown in the trash. Sigourney Weaver goes and tries to get some information as to what happened, why their ship went down. Because ships are always going down in Alien.
Yeah, they gotta
in the
fix
Alien
that.
series. The ships are always crashing. Yeah, but his is just like animatronic, which I guess they could have done.
They could have like stop motioned it, but that would have looked really bad. Remember?
Don't they use stop motion in Terminator?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. You remember the puppet with the sunglasses scene? Where his eye gets damaged and he's like cutting into his own eye. And then it's a shot of like him dabbing it with a towel and it looks up and you see the cavity and it's just like this super shitty looking.
Well, I mean, I guess like what the fuck was that?
That's my phone. Don't worry about it.
No. It sounded creepy. Oh, it like echoes through these speakers.
Yeah, how did it sound then?
Well, Alien 3 came out in 1993, I think. So I guess they would have had a little bit more experience with making animatronic puppet thingies. But I still think they could have. I still think there's plenty of ways they could have filmed that without it cutting like that.
100%. It was like the worst cut I've ever seen.
I kind of want to rewatch it.
Well, it's your favorite movie, you've said.
Yeah.
So you always want to rewatch it. But there's a shot in Back to the Future 3, speaking of weird stuff. So Michael J. Fox plays like 4 different characters in that movie. And in it, there's a shot where Michael J. Fox hands himself a plate of rabbit. In 1990. It would have been earlier than that because it came out in 1990. It would have been like mid-1980s.
What?
So at the beginning of Back to the Future 3, when he first gets back to the Old West, and he falls and hits his head, and then wakes up and it's Seamus McFly.
Back to the Future 3 is the one that I didn't really like.
I like it. I think it's better than 2.
Yeah, I don't like Westerns.
I love Westerns. I think it's just so much fun.
I just think it's a really shitty time period, and I just wouldn't want to be alive then.
I wouldn't either, but it's fun to watch other people do it. I think it would be fun for about 2 hours.
I think it's just gross. I mean...
I agree. I think that everybody would smell like shit.
They would smell like shit.
Nobody showered. You ate beans 24/7. The only entertainment was banging prostitutes and playing cards. Like, what are you going to do?
I'm sure it's more than what we see on the TV, but...
No, TV's pretty accurate, I think.
There's always some guy coming into town and just taking the place over.
Yeah. That happened on a daily basis. If you were lucky, it happened twice in one day.
If the first guy sucked, somebody else is gonna come in and take them over.
Speaking of that Gorn fight, I just keep going back to 60.
That Gorn fight.
It's just so good. Like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That rock structure, the weird pointy slanted rock structure.
That they just go to that one spot
is in literally everything. It was in the episode of Wild Wild West that I watched last night. Like that was the backdrop.
Yeah,
was
it's the
that
location.
Rock structure. Because do you know the story behind it? I'm sure I've said it before.
Yeah, it's like the only place they could film.
So apparently there's a radius from a certain point in wherever all that shit is, like LA, where if you step outside that radius, you have to pay more money to your actors because it's like not inside the zone. And that is like a quarter mile from the edge. And it just looks weird. So it's like every alien planet, every Western, like literally everything films there. Because it's a weird location that you don't have to pay extra for.
We should go there, and
I bet it's a tourist trap. I bet there's shit everywhere.
No, I think we could dress up like that lizard guy.
We're
and
both
then we
the
could
Gorn.
we could get somebody else to dress up like Captain Kirk. And then if there's tourists there taking pictures, we'll just come out, start fighting in slow motion. Do a couple
you mean
of
ultra
rolls.
fast regular motion?
Did they think Did they think they were gonna speed that up or something?
I have no idea, but they're moving slow. Like I can understand the Gorn moving slow because it's a dude in a hot ass rubber suit in the
I was about to say that
desert.
it's probably like 112 degrees in that suit.
And it's the 60s, so like little fans and stuff couldn't even be used. It was just a dude in a suit. Like if he was lucky, he was wearing like an ice pack vest. If he was lucky.
No.
But they're not going to pay for that, so fuck you.
That would have melted.
Get out there. We're shooting for 12 hours today.
If they were shooting that for 12 hours, that was a waste of time and money. That looked like a practice round. Like when you go in slow-mo, so everybody gets the choreography, and then you speed it up.
But it's like... It wasn't even like Captain Kirk was taking a little while to build up, like a... Hi-ya! You know what I mean? Like they do sometimes. It was like a... Doosh! Like it took so long. He was doing like the double.
Yeah, he does the double fist pound into the thing's spine.
Like, douche.
What was that thing's deal anyway? What was it?
So
I don't remember what he was even mad about.
That episode, the Enterprise showed up to this planet with like a science outpost, and all the people were dead.
Oh, and is that?
And then they started
Gorn?
getting shot, and the Enterprise started getting attacked. And then
The Enterprise
Captain
said,
Kirk like
"Hell no, bitch!"
threw a bomb at them or something, and then they got beamed up, and then the ship took off. And
it was a hit and run.
The Enterprise was like, "Oh fuck no, we're going after them." So then they peel out, and they're chasing them.
The police are after them at this point
Woo
too.
woo! And they flipped on the sirens.
There's like a space news.
There's
traffic helicopter.
There's somebody speeding through space on I-95.
You got a spotlight on him.
We'll bring you more as the story progresses.
The driver of the spaceship is believed to be Gorn.
We don't know what the fuck that is, but it sounds cool.
A reptilian species. A humanoid reptilian species.
We've identified the driver. We're here with his family. He would never do this.
Can we get a translator in here, please? It's so unprofessional.
It's just like the silhouette of the Gorn. You know when they do those, like they have a member of the Navy SEALs and they can't show his face, so they have the shadows.
And they got that like they got that like distorted like
yeah. It's just...
And there's like the words are like underneath. Got into space ship and
we were just minding our own business.
I feel like that's what they would sound like. We were just minding our own business.
But
they fucking shot. We shot a laser at them to let them know that was our parking spot.
They do a lineup. It's like a lizard and then a bunch of regular human people. Which one of these people assaulted you? It was the lizard. Are you sure? Yes.
You sure you're not a lizardist? It's when you don't like lizard people. Yeah, you hate
lizard people. But they're flying, like the Enterprise is chasing them, and then all of a sudden they just get like, they get some weird energy frequency or some bullshit, and they just stop. Like they're being held in place, both of the ships, and then a voice just starts speaking, and it's like, you have entered a sacred, you have entered a system that is, governed by such and such, and
oh my god,
your dispute,
I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Both of you are trying, violence is not the answer. And then Captain Kirk is like, but they killed like 25 people. We're not going to let them get away with that. And they're like, we don't give a shit. Fuck you. So then they beam Captain Kirk and the Gorn captain onto the planet.
Did they say that to the Gorn people too?
Yeah, presumably.
So the Gorn people probably did not give a shit.
Yeah, and then they're like, where the fuck did our captain go? What is going on? And they're like, we have sent him and the captain of the Gorn planet down to the planet to face off in battle. Whoever loses dies and their ship is blown the fuck up. Fuck you.
This is coming from the peace-loving hippie aliens.
Yeah, whatever. And then they give Captain Kirk and the Gorn like a communicator / a translator, so they can talk to each other.
The Gorn can talk to him?
Yeah.
What does he have to say?
I don't remember, but he was like, Captain Kirk.
You mean the translator translated his voice sounding super creepy like that?
Yeah.
And so Captain Kirk, when the Gorn was listening to him, Captain Kirk was going,
yeah, presumably. He didn't know that it was a translator that would talk to the Gorn, so he's just like fucking talking to the Enterprise. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna try and fuck him up using this plan, and the Gorn's just sitting there listening. And then it's like Captain Kirk's like trying to throw a rock off a cliff and stuff, and the Gorn fucking makes a snare trap or something for him. And then Captain Kirk makes he gets a stalk of bamboo and some sulfur and some other shit to make like some gunpowder, and then puts a bunch of diamonds in the end and lights it and blasts the Gorn with diamonds. That's where the Galaxy Quest, when
yeah, the pig lizard.
Tim Allen's fighting Rignac or whatever.
Rignac.
I've got it. Look around you. See if you can form some kind of rudimentary lathe. Get off the line, guy!
Rignac. Rock.
They should remake that scene, but it's just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
He would ruin that movie. If they ever try to do anything with that movie ever again, I think it would just be a disaster.
Yeah, because fucking Alan Rickman fucked us by dying. Selfish prick.
Galaxy Quest 2, is that ever supposed to be a thing?
I mean, they were going to do that TV show.
with the original cast.
Yeah, they all agreed to come back.
Probably would have sucked, though.
I bet it would have been fucking awesome.
I don't know.
Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine? I know you can imagine it because we've seen the movie and it's like the best sci-fi movie of all time. It's fucking great. It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
But like some of the biggest actors of all time are in it. Like if you had Tom Hanks, it would be like the creme de la creme of actors. You got Sigourney Weaver, amazing. Tim Allen. I mean, like he's in everything. Alan fucking Rickman, Sam Rockwell, Tony Shalhoub. Like even the side characters are Rainn Wilson and shit. Like they're just huge actors now.
Yeah. Did you know one of the aliens in that's also the guy who's in Men in Black? His wife is the squid.
Yeah, it's the.
But I've never seen
I've
him in
been
anything
shot.
else. Yeah. Oh, I've been shot. Yeah.
That movie's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Everyone, like, it's great. Grant Imahara worked on that movie.
Yeah. So anyway, back to 60s movies.
Shitty 60s shows.
If you want really bad, you gotta go back to the 50s.
Watch some John Wayne.
No. Talking like Ed Wood stuff. Have you ever watched an Ed Wood movie?
No.
This is the Tommy Wiseau of the 1950s.
I was gonna ask if he was that guy. What's the
Glenn
dude
or
who
Glenda,
just makes movies?
Plan from, I think it was called Plan from.
Was it A Brief Candle or something where he's like, oh fuck, I have to figure this out. I'm sorry. What's his name? Something Lost Pair. Something about pears. Lost Pair.
He was friends with. Well, actually, there's even a movie about him with Johnny Depp plays him. I think the movie's just called Ed Wood. But
what's the shitty movie about pears? Eiffel Tower movie review. I don't want a movie about Paris. I want a movie about pears.
No, let me find this dude. He his movies were ridiculous.
What's his name? It's like the most horrible shit you can imagine. Fuck. I'm gonna figure this out.
Oh yeah, Plan 9 from Outer Space. That is a weird movie. He had Bela Lugosi.
Twisted Pair, that's the name of it, I think.
Twisted Pair?
Twisted Pair?
Why does that wait, oh, you're talking no, that's Neil Breen.
Yes.
No, this guy's from the 50s.
Yeah, but I'm talking, is he like this guy?
He's almost like just a con.
We have to watch this.
I love Neil Breen. I watch any of his movies.
Seems legendary. We could do that. We should do that.
This whole time.
Let's get a green screen. Let's do that.
I want to watch, there's one of his movies I really want to see. The one where he's hacking into.
I've never seen anything about him. I only know the trailer for that one movie.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this dude, Ed Wood, he had Plan 9 from Outer Space. That was weird. There's aliens. There's Dracula in it. There's vampires in it. Basically, like, Bela Lugosi and Mally Nurmi, who played Vampira. He got them in there. They used to be big stars, but they got blacklisted.
Doing too much cocaine, probably.
Bela Lugosi, I think, was on pills.
Or not enough.
And then he's got one called Glenn or Glenda, which is about a man who enjoys wearing women's clothing.
Okay. Which I'm sure in the 50s was just terrible.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's like, who gives a shit?
You'd get arrested. Because I don't know if Ed Wood was like a legit cross-dresser or like totally into wearing women's clothes. But that movie's pretty weird. His movies, they're weird movies. Yeah, so Neil Breen.
I was just about to say something. And now I've forgotten what it was. What were we talking about?
Twisted. Oh, Fateful Findings. That's the one that I want to watch. Have you seen the clip from that? Where? Oh my god. Yeah. It's a good one. Hold on a second.
Okay, here we go. We gotta wrap up here pretty soon.
Yes.
I think you sent me this.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
He's just eating some of the spinach. And then the plate.
And that woman's amazed by it?
Yes.
Oh boy, it's on the floor. Oh, he's
And here's
embarrassed.
the switch. Here's what you don't see coming.
Oh god.
All this time, I haven't been working on my next book. I've hacked into the most secret government and corporate secrets.
The most secret. Isn't that amazing?
It's like War Games except stupid.
It's just like... Can you imagine if like that in script form?
No.
He picks up a plate picks up a plate of spinach.
Takes a bite.
Puts the plate on top of a loosely stacked folders of
Plate slowly falls down. Woman gasps in shock.
And then they look at each other and they both begin to laugh. Then he's smiling. Yeah, he's smiling and then he goes straight faced and he leans in and he says, "This whole time I haven't been working on my new book." And she's just like, oh my god, like shocked.
That's what in parentheses,
yeah.
like shocked.
Like shocked. I've been hacking into the most secret military and like corporate secrets or some shit. No, government and corporate secrets. The most secret. But I love how it's just like the best thing about Neil Breen movies is they're very vague. Or like they don't.
I don't know what you're talking about. That seemed pretty succinct.
Nothing's ever in detail. It's just like he's got like. There's another movie where he's the world's greatest hacker. It's a common theme where he's at. This is a different one.
I assume it's because it's easy to film a guy typing on a keyboard.
Yeah, and there's a scene where he's explaining his equipment. I can't remember the name of these movies, but I gotta start buying some of these. I want to watch this whole thing. Yeah, there's a scene where he's eating a can of tuna and driving on the highway, and he almost drives off a cliff because he's not holding on to the steering wheel, and that's just in the movie, and it's like, why? But like he's explaining
because it's awesome.
Yeah, sure, but he's explaining his because he lives on the road and all he does is eat tuna,
right?
In this movie, but
so mercury poisoning.
Yeah, he lives off of tuna and drives around hacking into stuff because he's the world's best hacker.
Does he live in a van or like a?
It's a car, but he's got he has like 2 satellite dishes, like for a TV.
Like a dish.
Yeah, like satellite. He got, you know how you go to Goodwill and there's just all that stuff. Yeah. This is what this guy is using for his spy equipment. So he's got like 2 of those set up. He's got like 6 laptops. Like he's explaining his equipment. He's like
6 laptops.
6 laptops,
Jeez.
And then he's like 8.
Does he have 6 outlets to charge them all at the same time?
No, he's in his fucking car. I think maybe the satellites were charging this shit.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know where the charge. Well, maybe it was coming from his car. I don't know that he must be going through like car batteries left and right because he had a lot of stuff.
He just leaves his engine on 24/7.
He has like
he's got the equivalent of 250 million miles.
Yeah, and on top of that, he has like 5 cell phones or something.
Of course.
Like, I mean,
does he have a headset? Like a Bluetooth headset for his cell phone.
Okay, one more Neil Breen moment.
Here we go. My body is ready.
Neil Breen. What the fuck's laptops? It's probably just. It's just a. Okay, Neil Breen hacks the DNC. Neil Breen.
This is fascinating. I'm glad we have more structure in the podcast.
Oh, this is good structure.
The Neil Breen segment. We have to do another stinger for it. We have to come up with another audio thing.
Yeah. Neil Breen. How do I find this clip?
I have no idea.
Neil Breen.
Nomad Hacker.
Yeah. Best hacker.
15 movies pop up.
I might have found it.
Yeah, we're investigating.
Yeah.
We'll be with you shortly. I'm gonna have to edit so much stuff out.
Oh, it's called Double Down.
Las Vegas, where anything goes. Enjoy it while you can.
Is that a threat?
I'm down to it all.
Are those
My name is
gunshots?
Aaron Brad.
I believe so.
I always thought I was doing the right thing and preparing for life.
Oh, yeah.
I was the
Look at
first
this
in my
dude's setup.
class in college in computer science.
Holy shit. Oh, look at all those
Military,
medals.
became a fighter.
Whoa!
Yeah, he's like the
Won
best at
many
everything he's
medals
ever
for
done.
distinguished service. I'm now a covert agent,
Oh, yeah, he's just
mercenary,
going around those
for any
rocks.
nation that wants to control another.
Oh, he kicked that boot over.
I
Now
don't
he's got-
need much to live on anymore. I just eat tuna out of the can and live in the car. I control access
That's
to
when he almost,
anything
that's
and
when he almost
everything,
goes off the road.
even from my little simple, brilliant setup.
Oh, yeah.
My
You
orders
leave the
from
door
another
open while you
country are to
sleep.
shut down the Las Vegas Strip.
How much do you
for
think
2
he spent on
months.
those stock shots?
I'd been given
Apparently,
this great
in his
power,
movies,
but I'm so alone without the girl
like
I
a
love.
lot of it's just stock
My
footage.
girlfriend and I always
Wow.
wanted to have
Like a
children.
ridiculous amount.
And now all of
How much
that's
do you
been
think that
taken
woman
away
got
from me.
paid? Is that Nicolas Cage? Oh, no!
Yeah, and he's always naked in his movies.
Well,
too.
yeah, why wouldn't you be?
Bigger than 9/11 or any of the other larger catastrophes we caught in time after 9/11.
It's me.
They really like talking about 9/11.
Contact has been made.
It's bigger than 9/11.
Government's
The
Or
done.
biggest
any of
thing
the
since
major,
9/11.
major catastrophes after 9/11.
Don't ask, he's protected. You're a genius.
Does that even make
Whoa,
sense?
is that Andy Richter?
But you know that.
No.
Oh, there's a satellite
no,
dish.
It is not. He may have found somebody that
I
looks
can't
like him.
forget her. Nor forgive them for what they did
I
to
thought
us.
that was a lobster.
Gosh.
Forgive me.
Movie trailers
Forgive
just
me.
give away too much of the movie nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel like
Now
I
I
just
actually
watched...
have no idea what's going on. Whoa! What the fuck is going on?
This summer, stock footage.
He's got like 3 seats.
Set up.
We have to find an Arizona looking spot around here that we can just run around.
It broke open.
Yeah, he's like in the same spot the entire movie.
Whoa, it's a brick
So
wall.
many questions, I'm so confused.
You think you got a stunt double for that?
Oh no. No. Neil Breen does all his own stunts.
I love this country. My country.
Our daughter Megan was just diagnosed with brain cancer. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
An assassination. We want to kill someone.
Whoa, that gun was totally real. Oh no! Oh, a rock. Oh, that was hot. I like that. Well, he produced, wrote, and directed?
Yeah.
And starred?
He funds his own movies. He makes all his money doing other things. And then he just makes these movies. He's amazing.
We should do that.
But I saw an interview with him because I was like, is this guy for real? And he's actually like a really cool dude.
Yeah, he's
Like,
just doing whatever the fuck he wants. I respect that.
But like his movies, obviously people are like, what the fuck? But like,
I totally get it, man. I'm into it.
yeah. But he was like, he just wanted to make movies.
Yeah.
And he had the money.
Sure.
And he was like, I pay everyone. He's like, it's never my intention to make a bad movie. He was like, I just don't really know.
What I'm doing?
Yeah, he's like, I just constantly am learning how to make movies better. So it's like, I want him to like, by his last film,
Make like a really like
something like
Citizen
amazing.
Kane.
Yeah, like because it's like and then like you watch this and you're like, oh dude, you saw that movie? Yeah,
It's the highest grossing film of all time.
yeah, and it's just like you like go back to and you're like, oh my god, Neil Breen, and you just put on like Double Down, that movie, and you're like, what the fuck?
It's just him like jumping on the ground.
Our daughter was just diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can you pass the salt?
Anyway, yeah, Neil Breen's the best.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up. It's getting
Alright.
pretty late.
We're done.
This is James and Jordan talking the internet.
Signing off.
Patreon.com
9:30. Holy shit.
/JJTI. Well, somebody had to
Eat food
like a
to
human or
survive.
some shit.
Yeah.
Will I edit this weekend and have it up on Monday? Who knows? Kind of really don't want to do that.
You're going to have to cut so much out of
Yeah,
this one.
this is garbage. Anyway, this is it. We're out. Bye.